Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic reviewer, and during this video I'm doing a product comparison of Bacopa Monnieri and Ashwagandha KSM66, both supplements I've used for 7 to 8 years, specifically for the purpose of decreasing levels of stress and helping me with productivity and performance. And I've really found that benefit more so with Bacopa Monnieri. With Ashwagandha, I still like it, but I really like it more for enjoying a better state of mind. Better calmness has definitely helped to improve my baseline mood. Of the two nootropic supplements, I definitely do prefer Bacopa Monnieri because I have found it's a way that I can decrease levels of stress without compromising productivity. With Ashwagandha, yes, it can decrease stress, but it also makes me a little bit lazy. I find that I'm not as competitive. Like, it's okay to experience a little bit of anxiety sometimes if it does allow you to achieve better performance. Sometimes I need to be frustrated, but with Ashwagandha, I found that it can make me a little bit complacent, a little bit apathetic. And both of these nootropic supplements are naturally occurring because there's natural nootropics out there, then there are synthetic nootropics. And those are things like modafinil or the racetams that a lot of people do ingest to increase levels of energy and levels of motivation. So these are natural. They're also adaptogens, meaning that they are nootropic supplements that can help you to better tolerate stress and to help you build up your stress resilience. Because if our threshold for stress is very low, of course it's going to diminish productivity. There's a lot similar with these nootropics. As a matter of fact, the suggested serving size that you'll traditionally find for Bacopa Monnieri and Ashwagandha is going to be 500 milligrams per serving, but they're very different in the ways. Like, I look at Bacopa Monnieri more so around cognition, helping achieve better memory, clearer thinking, better planning skills, and I look at Ashwagandha more so around better handling stress, but also for improving testosterone levels. That's why a lot of people use Ashwagandha. It's specifically around performance and weight training. If you're looking for a nootropic supplement that can boost cognition, you're more likely going to have better results with Bacopa Monnieri. But the exception to that is if you're somebody that's experiencing like chronic stress, maybe high cortisol levels, then perhaps you could be doing better with Ashwagandha because of the fact that naturally by decreasing levels of stress, it's going to help your sleep quality and you're going to be able to achieve a better level of performance. But Bacopa Monnieri is really the go-to nootropic when it comes to studies that back up its improvements with working memory. But really what I want to share with you is that these are two very different nootropic supplements in the practicality of their use. Like, Ashwagandha is great for achieving a better level of calmness. Bacopa Monnieri, it's far superior when it comes to cognition, and it has most of the studies done showing it can really result in improved memory. Ashwagandha is an evergreen shrub and it grows in India, it grows in the Middle East as well as some areas of Africa. And it actually ranks as one of the best nootropics at decreasing anxiety levels while being pretty free of side effects in the grand scheme of things. But where it has been a little bit disappointing for me is at boosting testosterone levels, where there are some individuals like this Reddit claim over here saying that Ashwagandha is really an effective supplement for them to naturally boost their testosterone level. One of the major benefits with supplementing with Ashwagandha in your daily regimen is that it can decrease cortisol levels. It's one of the few supplements that do that, and when you have chronically high cortisol levels, that's associated with a lot of negative impacts on your body, such as weight gain, such as brain fog, such as a poor memory. So Ashwagandha and phosphatidylserine are pretty much the only two nootropics that can effectively reduce cortisol levels. I want to remind you, cortisol is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a decent thing. It makes us stressed out to help us perform better, but it's when you have chronically high cortisol levels, especially for an extended period, that's when it's obviously very unhealthy. And that's why I personally noticed like a lot of the elder population have gravitated more towards Ashwagandha use, especially those individuals that aren't sleeping right. Of course, are going to see better results by taking Ashwagandha because they're going to have higher cortisol levels. We can see some of the benefits looking at examine.com for Ashwagandha include sleep quality, stress signs, fatigue symptoms, motivation. That one I'm not so sure about, as well as social functioning. For my many years of taking Ashwagandha, I've gone through periods having it in my stack, not having it in my stack, trying it with other things, is that I definitely have a love-hate relationship with it because I definitely feel a little bit calmer through the day, but it comes with that negative side effect because I actually wonder if my overall numbers and my overall output would be higher if I hadn't used Ashwagandha. But then you can look at it further and say, well, Ashwagandha is going to keep me consistent because I'm going to be enjoying my job. So it's a little bit confusing. So if you're somebody that just needs to get motivated and you're hoping that a supplement can help you to achieve that, Ashwagandha is probably not the best supplement for you. But if you're somebody that's naturally motivated like myself and just wired that way, then Ashwagandha may just help you to achieve more productivity because of the many mood benefits that come with it. It's a little bit similar to L-theanine in that I've not found myself to be a better thinker. I was a little bit disappointed with Ashwagandha cognitively speaking. It didn't really help me to like solve complex problems that I wouldn't be able to solve because for me, it took a while for it to really start working, but I definitely at the same time feel some sort of acute effect. I ingest it, I feel a little bit calmer. So for that reason, I've actually found it better using the majority of my Ashwagandha in the later portion of the day because I don't want to compromise my productivity, and I feel like if I were to ingest Ashwagandha, say first thing in the morning, it would cause me to work a little bit less. Whereas Bacopa Monnieri is a perennial creeping herb native to the wetlands of southern and eastern India. Australia, Europe, Asia, and Africa. And I actually started taking Bacopa Monnieri because I was looking for a relatively safe supplement that would help me to decrease stress levels. I ingested Rhodiola rosea. I really enjoyed that one. I was looking for something a bit similar, and Bacopa Monnieri seemed to be the closest nootropic to it. And what was really impressive is that not only did it help me better manage my stress levels, but also it really helped me to improve my memory. I noticed I was able to remember long-term memories that I wouldn't able to remember otherwise. And sometimes I think, wow, if I had Bacopa Monnieri when I was younger, when I was in school, I would have had much better grades. And there's quite a few studies showing that it can improve memory levels based on this chart over here. You can just see how popular it is. And not only is it effective with elder individuals or individuals that may have some signs of dementia, because that's where the majority of studies do show good results, but also with younger individuals. And there's this one study which is very interesting because they took med students, so these are already somewhat intelligent people. They were also younger, and they were using Bacopa Monnieri for a pretty short period of time. They were only taking 300 milligrams per day. This is a lower dose in all things considered. And the study actually concluded that it was effective on improving their memory by all markers. And I can say that's been my experience as well. And I'm often seeing the same comments on this channel. People are reporting Bacopa has been responsible for them achieving better grades, especially when they're sleep deprived. And people also mentioning that they're able to recall things like even from their childhood. So this definitely makes it different than ashwagandha in that there's much better supplements for memory outside of Bacopa Monnieri that are far superior to ashwagandha. But something great about ashwagandha is that the research shows it could be superior as far as a supplement for overall health benefits, also for stress management, and actually for improving your body composition. With Bacopa Monnieri, we don't really have too much information out there, if anything, that it can improve your testosterone levels, that it can help with bone mass, or it can help with strength, but there are studies stating that ashwagandha can really help with just that. Don't expect miracles with respect to ashwagandha improving testosterone levels or helping you with your body composition. The research is pretty light, and I think there's far more superior things like Tonkat Ali or Turkesterone or even Tribulus for improving testosterone levels. The number one side effect that you'll hear about with ashwagandha use is demotivation. The other side effect that you'll often come across is that ashwagandha could do some funny things to your thyroid. So if you have any concerns whatsoever about your thyroid level, whether it's too high, whether it's too low, then I would stay away from ashwagandha. I would definitely talk to a general practitioner first. Often reported is that ashwagandha use actually increases thyroid function, and one of the negative side effects with that is that you won't be able to sleep. You'll be lying in bed and your heart rate will be a little bit too high for you to get that restful sleep that you need. If you found the right methods of optimizing your thyroid, then that could be the exception. Like, I'm somebody with lower thyroid, so I take 50 micrograms of cytomel every single day, and I get my blood work checked every 6 months, and until I really found the right way of taking my cytomel and making sure my thyroid levels were healthy, that's when I started to introduce ashwagandha, and I observed it, and things are good so far. And I've not personally found that using ashwagandha has in any way messed up my thyroid function. Otherwise, you'll find some strange side effects reported out there. Some people report that ashwagandha can cause hair loss. Some people report that it can cause freckles. I really wouldn't pay too much attention to that with ashwagandha. It's such a popular supplement. Of course, we're going to hear some bizarre things out there, but they are not often reported. If anything's reported, sometimes it's nausea or sometimes headaches. So obviously, if you're experiencing any of these, you've got some options. You can try a different form of ashwagandha. You can adjust the dose, or you can just not take it altogether. And interestingly enough, with Bacopa Monnieri, the number one side effect is also demotivation. There could be something to be said about nootropics that can decrease anxiety and decrease stress, also are somewhat demotivating. That's been my experience with many of them. But the other side effect that's often reported is that a drop in libido takes place. The side effects, they're a little bit comparable to ashwagandha. I feel like Bacopa, it is somewhat demotivating, but nowhere close to the effects that ashwagandha has. Like ashwagandha, I wouldn't be comfortable taking in the morning. With Bacopa Monnieri, I'm somewhat comfortable taking it in the morning. I've also found that it's somewhat stimulatory, so I wouldn't personally ingest Bacopa Monnieri right before bed. But with ashwagandha, I'm comfortable taking it before bed. As a matter of fact, a lot of people ingest Bacopa Monnieri before bed, and they're reporting that they're getting more REM sleep by taking ashwagandha pre-bed. But one side effect that I've personally noticed is that because it is a little bit stimulatory for me anyway, again, I'm very sensitive to nootropics. I haven't found Bacopa Monnieri to be like the best nootropic when it comes to social functioning. With some users, they really don't feel Bacopa Monnieri working until like a week of use, but I'm somebody like even a smaller dose of 300 milligrams, I instantly feel it. I feel more present. I feel very aware of my surroundings, and I get somewhat of an energy boost, which also makes me a little bit anxious at the same time, but it is more positive than it is negative. But one of the reasons why I don't really feel demotivated when I'm ingesting Bacopa Monnieri is because I'm in most cases using it with other nootropics to help to offset that. Things like Nupep, you'll also find Bacopa Monnieri in supplements like Quality of Mind. Ashwagandha is not in Quality of Mind. So that really has been the key for me, is pairing a Bacopa Monnieri with a nootropic that can motivate me. But with ashwagandha, you can try the same thing. I think that the properties of ashwagandha make some individuals so demotivated demotivated, that it doesn't matter what they pair ashwagandha with, they're going to feel it demotivating them. And then the other side effect, or not even side effect, that you can consider with both nootropics is that a good portion of people just simply don't feel them working. Perhaps 20 to 30% of people just don't see the good results that they're expecting. But those are individuals that probably aren't so sensitive to nootropics. They're hoping that both these supplements are somewhat stimulatory. They're not that stimulating. They're not that energizing. So really just be patient with it. Don't give up on these supplements. Give them about a week of use, and then you'll better get to see whether there's results or not results. If you were to ask how to take ashwagandha, 2 times a day is going to be better than once a day. It has a fairly long half-life, so the ideal way to take ashwagandha is really spaced out, something like 10 a.m. and then something again like at 6 p.m. But for me, I prefer taking it once in the early afternoon, say 2 o'clock p.m., and then again in the late afternoon, something like 6 o'clock p.m., because of the fact that I don't want to ingest it first thing. And a typical dose looks like 300 to 500 milligrams. You can work your way up to 500 milligrams twice a day. I personally wouldn't go and take more ashwagandha than that. And the actual form that I most prefer is the extract called KSM66. You can learn about the different types of ashwagandha in this video right here. If you get in the capsule form, you're most often going to find it in 500 milligram capsules. That's a good place to start. Just try taking 1 capsule a day, and then as long as you're responding well to it, then you can up your dosage, take it twice a day, and then you can really see good results with it. And the way that people are ingesting Bacopa Monnieri is pretty much identical to ashwagandha. Common serving size is going to be 300 to 500 milligrams. Capsules of Bacopa Monnieri are often going to be found in capsules of 500 milligrams per serving. You can start with that once a day. The way that I'm actually taking Bacopa Monnieri is at the same time that I'm ingesting my ashwagandha. So I'm taking 500 milligrams at 2 o'clock p.m. and then I'm taking 500 milligrams at 6 o'clock p.m. But if it's a day when I'm somewhat sleep deprived, I feel really good waking up, waiting about an hour, and then ingesting Bacopa pretty much first thing, because I really feel the effects that way. I notice like I have a good memory. One of the things is when you're somewhat sleep deprived, your working memory is way worse than it typically is. But with ashwagandha, if you really want to see the benefits, they say it's best to take twice a day. With Bacopa Monnieri, it's not as important to take twice a day. You can get away with taking it once a day. For some individuals that really feel the acute effects of Bacopa, they're only saving Bacopa Monnieri for those emergency cases or those emergency days when they want to be extra sharp. Maybe they didn't get the right sleep that they needed, or they're somewhat jet lagged. But a great place to start with Bacopa Monnieri is taking 500 milligrams once a day. It doesn't matter too much what time of the day that you take it. Take it whenever you're comfortable. With both nootropic supplements, it also doesn't matter whether you take them in a fasted state or a fed state. The warning with Bacopa Monnieri is I wouldn't personally take it within 2 hours of going to sleep, because I find that it's somewhat energizing. With ashwagandha, I'm okay taking it pre-bed, but generally speaking, I don't really like taking nootropics before I sleep. I find that I sleep better without them. And the form of Bacopa Monnieri doesn't really matter too much. This is the Synapsa. You'll also find the bacognized form. I've tried it from various vendors. I've tried different types. I've not really found it make too much of a difference. Whether you take it in a capsule form or a powder form, just be mindful of the dose. Make sure that you take it at the same time every single day so you can better get to know whether or not it's working. And if you were to take them together, I think it's okay. Just make sure that you've tried them independently first. Make sure that you try like ashwagandha for a week, that you responded to it okay. Then following that, try Bacopa for a week. Make sure that you respond to it okay, no negative side effects, and then pairing them together to be good. As a matter of fact, I really enjoy using both of them together. Like the mood uplift that I'm able to achieve, it's pretty profound considering that these are both nootropic supplements that are naturally occurring. And if you did find this video informative, then consider subscribing, drop a like. What are your thoughts on these two nootropics? I want to see in the comment section below. If you'd like to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon, or you can send me a direct message on Instagram. And be sure to visit our Discord server, which has a 24/7 chat room. I thank you for your interest in nootropics, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.